So just finished the Manchester United Real Madrid pre-season game. As I said, I was away yesterday, so I wasn't really able to watch it live. I recorded it and I've just finished watching it now. I have to say the overall quality of the game just as a whole was really poor, but I don't think either side performed anywhere near the capabilities that they could. I know there were a lot of speculation around the quality of the pitch before kickoff. I saw that last night before the game actually started. So I don't know if that was on the players' mind. I didn't really want to put a full shift in because of the state of the pitch. But all in all, it wasn't a very good game. And I think that kind of reflected in the performance from both teams. I don't think there were any real standout performance for either side. Maybe you could argue Jude Bellingham for Real Madrid. I thought Onana had a very good debut. Nothing he could do about either of the goals. I thought he commanded himself very well, getting on the ball a lot more composed on the ball than what we've been used to seeing from the likes of David De Gea. So I'm very pleased with how Onana settled himself in. But like I say, I just don't think it was a very good game to watch. And the only real concerns that I'll bring up in this video are just going to be little bits of nitpicking about things that I hope we can do better. Firstly, I don't get this whole Bruno playing out wide thing. That didn't work last season, and I'm hoping that's not something we're going to continue going into this season. I would love to know what the plan was. Obviously, we lost Kobbie Mainoo 2 minutes into the game, which was a huge loss because he'd been so good at doing that role in the first two pre-season games. So to put Eriksen in there instead of Kobbie at the start, that was a real issue, and I think that did affect our style of play. But even then, I don't understand why Bruno was out wide. I don't understand why it couldn't have just been Casemiro, then Mount and Bruno, or Mount and Kobbie if you wanted to play Bruno at cam and just leave Mason Mount out. Bruno just did nothing on that right-hand side. Absolutely nothing. He really struggled to influence the game at all. And it also meant that he had to constantly track Fran Garcia backwards. So I hope this isn't something we're going to do going forward. I hope that we're just going to play wingers, play Antony, play Garnacho, play Rashford, play Casemiro, and then play two midfielders. Whether that's Bruno and Mount, Bruno and Kobbie, Mount and Kobbie, Eriksen, Amrabat if we get him signed. I don't care. But do not play Bruno Fernandes out wide. You're just wasting talent. We've got Sancho, Pellistri, Ahmad, Antony, Rashford, Garnacho. All these players that play out wide naturally, and you're putting an attacking midfielder out there against Real Madrid. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I hope we don't see that again. Other little nitpicks, I thought there were some poor performances from Mount and Eriksen in particularly. We were trying to command the ball like we've been doing under Erik ten Hag and like we've been doing very well in those first two pre-season games. But I thought the pair of them, Mount and Eriksen, were incredibly wasteful in the game overnight. Just constantly giving the ball away. Really disappointed with the pair of them. And hopefully that was just a blip in what has been a pretty good pre-season for both players so far. We'll see against Dortmund on Monday. Other than that, like I say, just nitpicks. The first goal was offside. I don't really care. I like that we're trying to play a higher line because we have a defence that's capable of playing a higher line now and a goalkeeper that is willing to sweep up behind. So yes, that does make us susceptible to balls in behind. The first goal, I've not seen it with the lines, but I'm pretty confident it's offside and it shouldn't have stood. There was one ball that went in behind where the defence just sort of left it and then Carvajal got in because he was onside from him within his own half and they nearly scored because of that, but it was a bit wasteful. Other than that, Real Madrid really didn't offer a lot against what you would call the first 11. I think the one standout player for Manchester United, other than Onana, I said there wasn't any standouts, I completely forgot about what was a pretty decent performance from Alejandro Garnacho. He looked a threat every time he got on the ball, whether he was running at Lucas Vazquez or Dani Carvajal. Every time he got it, he was a threat, and I'm hoping to see more from him. I want Garnacho starting. In my opinion, Garnacho should be starting. If we can't get this whole striker thing sorted, and I'll get to that in a moment, then it should be Rashford up front and Garnacho on the left. Obviously, we sign a striker, then you put Rashford on the left and have Garnacho as an impact player. But for now, until we sign a striker, Rashford should be up front and Garnacho should be on the left because Garnacho is a serious threat and was unlucky to score on a couple of occasions. That then brings us to the striker situation because once again, we are missing too many chances because we just don't have a focal point. Rashford is not a striker. He doesn't know whether or not to come short and get on the ball or whether or not to stay up front. I saw the overlap with him a couple of days ago with Gary Neville where he talked about how he prefers being on the left because he knows he has the license to drop in and then make runs in behind, whereas when he plays up front, he feels like he has to sort of stay up front and be that last man to run in behind. What we need is a striker that is going to be able to hold up the ball, come short and hold it up, like a Van Nistelrooy, like a Harry Kane, which is unrealistic, or like a Rasmus Hojland, who PSG have just submitted a £43 million bid for. So we need to get it sorted. We're not creating enough chances because we don't have a focal point. And then when those chances are coming, they're being wasted because we don't have clinical enough finishers. Garnacho, like I say, missed a couple of chances. Unlucky, but still probably should have been doing better. Mason Mount, easy chance. Ball drops at his feet inside the penalty area, scuffs it to the goalkeeper. Eriksen had a chance that he missed. Bruno just couldn't get into those positions. When he didn't do anything with it. Second half, Anthony, as always, cuts in and shoots. No quality, no end product. Sancho didn't get a sniff. I thought he was very poor. And it's just when the chances were coming, you just had no faith that the forward players were going to score. And that's why we need a new striker, just to finish off the team. Get a focal point, get a striker that we're confident in, that we know is going to score goals when the chances come their way. So, like I say, we shouldn't be majorly concerned, in my opinion. The only other things I would say is it took far too long to deal with Jude Bellingham. He was just allowed to free roam over the entire pitch. We had 4 centre mids on. We had Bruno, Eriksen, Mount and Casemiro. And for some reason, Bellingham just had license to go wherever he wants. That's a concern because that suggests that tactically we're not dealing with the opposition's biggest threat when they're proving to be a big threat. And my old friend corners, where once again we had the line of tall players marking no one, then the short players marking their big players, and on more than one occasion, certainly in that second half, Eder Militao had opportunities to score from corners. Don't know why we're doing that. Should not be doing that. But other than that, not really too much to complain about. The second goal, Brandon Williams, we all know he's not good enough for Manchester United. He shows his passion, that was evident again today, but to literally let a centre forward drop off you inside the penalty area. It's a great overhead kick from Osalu, don't get me wrong. But for Brandon Williams to just stand there and let him peel off him and score that goal, that's just not good enough. So, not going to complain too much about that. Like I say, it's a pre-season defeat. It is what it is. Little bit of worrying signs at times, but overall, I don't think we did too bad. And like I say, I think the overall quality of the game was pretty poor anyway. So, as always, let me know your thoughts if you either stayed up and watched it or if, like me, you recorded it and have watched it a little bit earlier this morning. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will be back on Tuesday for my reaction to the Borussia Dortmund game. I'll see you then.